Hi guys, I made to do a review about Dreamfall by Plum. Plum is one of my favorite authors and this is her latest book. It actually came out, I think 2 weeks ago at the beginning of May, and actually won this book through a giveaway during the YA scavenger hunt from the author. I was really excited to read it and then I finally read it and it was absolutely amazing, so I had to do a review on this one. So this book follows a group of 7 teenagers who all are suffering from insomnia, and the reasons why they're suffering from this are pretty different for every character. Some of them might have had a traumatic experience and they will be having nightmares, which is one of the reasons why they can't and don't want to sleep. Others might suffer from some disease. And so you have 7 teenagers who are suffering from this and they all join this scientific experiment. And the idea is that during this experiment they will be put into a sleep, and the machine that's putting them into sleep will let them go through different cycles of sleep. So first they will just have the normal sleep, then they have the dream sleep and then go back to normal sleep. And this will happen 5 times. But while they are just barely hooked in the machine, something happens, there's an earthquake, the electricity falls out, and suddenly these teens are still asleep but actually trapped in each other's nightmare. So these teens who don't know each other are trapped in their worst nightmare and they need to deal with it. They need to try to survive because they don't know if they die in a nightmare, will they also die in real life, and they just hope that someone will be able to wake them up sometime soon. Now I guys really enjoyed this book. It's quite short and I actually took it with me when I went to an amusement park here in the Netherlands, and the thing is I like going to amusement parks, but I'm also quite scared of anything that goes high or fast or does a loop or anything like that, so I can't really go into a roller coaster or anything. So I had this book with me so that I could read it, and I actually much preferred reading this book over going to the amusement park because it was so good. So one of the main characters that we follow in this book is Kata, and I don't really want to tell you why she's suffering from insomnia. I think it's more interesting to find out yourself. But Kata was such an interesting character. I really enjoyed her personality. I also really enjoyed the personality of Fergus, who's one of the other teens that's suffering. And I also really enjoyed the character of Jamie. And the most interesting thing actually about Jamie, which is one of the characters I really want to talk about, is Jamie is not one of the teens who is trapped into the nightmares. Jamie is actually an intern at this scientific center, and he or she, because in the book it never really gets clear if Jamie is a boy or a girl, but Jamie is there and Jamie witnesses everything that happens, and Jamie is the first one who's kind of catching on to what is going on. So you follow on one hand the story of a couple of teenagers who are trapped in each other's nightmares, but you also follow one of the scientists, or interns at least, who is trying to figure out what is going on and how can we help these teens. So the story itself, guys, was really good. If you're looking for a short and powerful and amazing YA thriller, I definitely recommend you to pick this book up. You don't really find out what every teen is suffering from and what their nightmares are, and of some nightmares you don't even really know to what character it is connected, but every nightmare is genuinely scary and is very terrifying. And basically whenever a nightmare started, I was really afraid of what would happen to the characters and what they will be finding out next. So there are a couple of different nightmares. For instance, there's a clown nightmare. Now I myself am actually not really afraid of clowns, but while I was reading that nightmare I was terrified of them. And then there's also other ones about murderers, about monsters, about just a ton of scary stuff, and every nightmare was just so incredibly interesting, and I really enjoyed the parts where they enter the nightmare, because that is definitely a big part of the story, obviously, because they need to survive that, and the nightmares also give something away of the characters that are in them, especially the one whose nightmare it obviously is, but also the in-between parts when the teens just have a moment of peace where they can rest, where they can talk, where they can try to figure out what's actually going on. That was also really interesting because you get to see how they react to these stressful situations, and every one of them does it in a different way, and it made it really interesting. And the characters that you meet during these nightmares and during these quiet times are also very diverse. You have a whole range of different characters with different problems, different backgrounds, and just it was so interesting because every character has their own unique, and every one of those 7 voices, or actually 8 if you count Jamie with it too, actually genuinely came to life in this book. And at the end of the story you get this kind of big revelation, and it was scary. It was really scary, and I really liked how it once again connected the 17s who are stuck in a nightmare to the scientist Jamie who is trying to help them. I really liked how it connected them just real quickly, and then just kind of ended the book on this crazy cliffhanger that I'm so excited about, because the cliffhanger in itself is not necessarily an event. It's more of a piece of information that is being shared, and that just changes so many things. It changed my perspective on some of the nightmares. It changed my perspective on some of the characters. It changed my perspective of what I thought might be happening in a sequel. It just added so much to the story. The only thing that I found a bit frustrating is how that information was put into words, I would say. It's kind of difficult to explain if you don't want to spoil it and if you haven't read it yet, but the information that's being shared is done in such a way that I feel like it could have been more useful if it had been done in a different way. But it was still very, very, very good. Basically, that's the only thing that I can say could have been better in the book, and that's just one line. That's one line. That's definitely influencing the whole story and definitely influencing the sequel. But it was really interesting, and it was just so good. So after just this gushing review, guys, if I haven't convinced you to pick this one up yet, I don't know what else I can do. I freaking love this. If you've read any Amy Plum book and you enjoyed it, please pick it up. If you haven't read any books by her, just pick up any of her. You have the Die For Me series, which is absolutely amazing. It's paranormal romance. Then you have the After the End duology, which is also amazing, which is dystopian and lies, awesomeness. And then you have the Dreamfall, which is also going to be a duology, I believe. And that's just a YA thriller. She has books in a whole range of different genres. They are all absolutely amazing, and I highly recommend you to just pick up any of her books. She is one of my author by authors. She is fabulous. Now, if you've read this book, guys, I would love to hear from you. Which nightmare was your favorite? I really enjoyed all of them, though I think that the one with the clowns mostly stuck with me. Not because I am actually scared of clowns, but actually some people that are close to are very scared of them. So I kind of vaguely checked with them, like, if you had this dream, would you be scared? They told me that yes, I would be freaking terrified, and that definitely added something to me personally, at least something to the story. So I'd love to hear from you. What is your favorite nightmare in this book? And I hope to see you in my next video. And if you enjoyed this one, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Hope to see you in my next one, guys. Goodbye!